Today I kind of just wanted to sit and chat with you, do a little bit of a life update. I don't get too personal on here. I mainly share, my travels, and sometimes I get slightly personal, but mostly it's about books. So this is a little bit of a strange one, but I kind of wanted to share some news. I think back in March of this year, I did a kind of spontaneous rambly video about how hard it is for me to travel with my eye condition. So if you don't know, I have an eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed when I was 8, and the gist of it is that there's something wrong with my retinas. I don't have peripheral vision, and it is a progressive eye disease. So for a lot of people, not everyone, but for a lot of people, it will get worse over time, and some people it might get worse when they're like in their teenage years or in their 20s, and for others it won't really affect them that much until they're like in their 40s, 50s or 60s. So I was okay for the most part during school, and in my early 20s I did, it did progressively get worse and worse, and I did notice that, especially when I was getting older and not really walking around with my parents as much anymore, I did notice that I was struggling to feel confident walking on my own, because I would trip and I would bump into things. I would get lost because I don't know where I'm going, and crossing roads is really hard for me. And I think I mentioned in the traveling with retinitis pigmentosa video back in March that I was trying to get a different eye doctor and trying to get a cane, basically. Well, I'm happy to share that I did get a cane. I'm not gonna open it. Actually, I'll open it. There we go. It's you can't see it, the whole thing. I got this cane 2 weeks ago. I got in touch with an O&M instructor about 3 weeks ago, and so the first well, it was a long process. So if you're interested to know the process, I changed eye doctors, like eye specialists, and he's actually a lot closer to me than my previous one. And he tested my eyes as usual, as the annual checkup usually goes, and he basically said that I have less than 10 degrees of field vision, and that would consider me legally blind, I guess. So then I took that to the NDIS, and I got all that sorted. It took a couple of months, but I'm very happy that I finally got the cane. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today was just to share the news, because I'm really excited about it. I feel way more confident walking around. I'm still learning how to use it. I have an appointment with my O&M later on this afternoon, and he said that we might go somewhere like not in this area, just to practice using the cane correctly and things like that. But I have been sort of using it when I'm out on my own. So I practiced going to the gym on my own, because I go to the gym every day, and I practiced like going to some of the shops near where I live. And what I noticed about it is that, one, I'm able to look up more from using the cane, because I don't have to worry about where I'm stepping, which is really helpful. I'm still a little bit nervous crossing roads, because I'm always really nervous crossing roads. I have to focus so hard crossing roads. But I've managed to do it. It still stresses me out though, because there are some people like buses and stuff that would completely stop traffic because they see me with the cane, and that kind of makes me feel bad a little bit. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to share some good news just because I'm really excited about it. And when I was growing up, I never knew anyone with the same eye condition as me, or even similar eye condition as me, and now I found a lot of people on YouTube who have retinitis pigmentosa, and it's just really nice to watch other people that are going through the same thing as you're going through, even though, you know, a lot of them are on different levels of eye condition and what they can see and stuff like that. It's just really nice. And I guess the other reason is for people who might have had the same thought as I did before I got the cane, which is that I never felt like I was blind enough. No one told me that I was blind enough to like get the cane. My eye specialist, my previous eye doctor, never mentioned it. Every time I did mention to him that, you know, I'm getting a little bit more independent now, I'm not walking around with my parents anymore. When I was trying to study up in Sydney, I had to catch the train on my own and things like that. Like, he never suggested the cane. I didn't know anything about how to get a cane. I didn't know anything about how to get on the NDIS, which is the disability scheme program thing in Australia. So no one told me about any of that, and I just always thought that I just wasn't blind enough, which sounds really bad, but like because I feel like I can still like see, like I can see the camera. I can't see around the camera because I don't have any peripheral vision, but I can still see the camera. And also, if you're in a familiar place, like the place that you live in, you're bound to like memorize where everything is. It's just habit. Like as long as like I do, you know, Andrew and I do a great job of keeping this place tidy and keeping things in its own specific spot. And part of that reason is so that, because he understands that if you move something, I won't be able to find it, and he's always at work, so if I lose something, I'm not going to be able to call him and like ask him where something is. And if it's something important, then, you know, that's gonna be an issue. So like, I don't know, I never felt like, I was always like wondering why I couldn't get the cane, and now I have one, and I still feel a little bit weird using it, because it's sort of like this imposter syndrome kind of feeling, but I need to like remind myself this is a helpful tool. It's a thing that is useful for me. It does help me. I do feel way more confident walking around with this. Not even just like, apparently my O&M says that my pace is a little bit faster now that I have the cane, which is really good, because I used to walk really slow. And Andrew even says like, yeah, Michelle takes really small steps because she doesn't know where she's stepping. So that's really helpful, but also it's just really helpful as like an indication, like an identification to people that like I may need help. Maybe I don't need help, or like I don't need help right now all the time, but I may need some help. Like, for example, something that I struggle with, and it's something that like kind of prevents me from going to the shops and things like that, is if I haven't been to the shop before, and I won't know where things are, and I won't know where the cashier is, I won't know where to line up. And also, like, when I'm paying for something, sometimes I can't see where the machine is, like where you tap your card and you pay, and that's always really awkward because I'm always like, they're like, okay, yeah, it's ready to go, and then I'm like awkwardly like scanning the table with my eyes where it is, and then it turns out it's like right here, but it's like in my blind spot, so I don't see it. So that's really helpful, because I went to the post office with my cane a couple of days ago, and she was really helpful. She, like, usually I get really stressed because they would throw the package on the table and then I won't know where it is. But I think because she saw me with the cane, she like handed it to me and then said, it's on your left, which is really helpful because, again, peripherals, don't have any. I always felt like the cane wasn't for me, and I think like having my doctor like write up that report and actually tell me that yes, you have less than 10 degrees of field vision, where a normal person would have like 180 degrees or 160 or something, and yes, you would be considered legally blind. I think just having someone confirm that to me just made me really happy. I guess, I don't know, because I always felt like the like me not wanting to go out at night because I can't see, or me not wanting to go to the store, like I said, I always thought that was just like me, and just me being dumb or silly or just like overly anxious and scared, like I needed to like force myself to do it. Like, again, like going on buses, I don't like going on buses because the number of times that I have had to catch buses, like when I was working like a half an hour away and I had to catch the bus, the bus drivers would always be really impatient because they would be late on their schedule, and then I would get on and like trying to pay, like my eyes need to adjust because it's really dark from light to dark, and then it needs to adjust, and then I have to tap my my bus card onto their machines, and it's always in different places no matter what bus you go on, so I can never like memorize like, oh, this bus has it at the front, this bus has it on this side. It's just, they change it all the time, and so it takes a while for me to tap my card and like sit down, and they get very impatient and they get mad at me, and so that's part of the reason why I don't like catching buses. So like things like that, I always thought that was just like that was just like me being silly, me being like overly anxious or whatever. But like I can recognize now that it's because of my eyes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited to test this out more. I don't use it all the time still. I only use it, like I said, when I'm walking around on my own, but like a lot of the times I do just walk around with like Andrew, and when I'm with him I don't really need to use this because I just hold his arm. So yeah. So I guess what I kind of want people to take away from this, especially if you have retinitis pigmentosa, and I understand like you might have been okay, you know, when you were younger and like not really needing any help, but if you are starting to feel like you would feel more comfortable walking around on your own and would feel more independent, because that's the other thing, right? Like I don't feel independent. There are certain things that other people have done like in their late teens that makes them feel independent. There are these like milestones or like these rites of passage or whatever, like getting your license, which is something that I never got to do because I can't, because my eyes are not good enough to be able to drive. And like living on your own, again, I guess that's not really something to do with my eyes, because I know blind people live on their own all the time. That's just a money thing. But like things like that, like I never felt independent, and I'm 30, and for the longest time I always felt like I couldn't go out on my own. And so if you're in that position, if you have retinitis pigmentosa and you're starting to feel like a cane would help, I highly recommend pushing for it with your eye doctor. Like I did. I tried to push for it with my old eye doctor, and then I ended up changing eye doctors. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share some fun news with you. Hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll see you next time.